Hey y'all, it's your girl Shanae, and I'm here with another video for you all, my BGLWs, to help you get through this stressful thing that is called law school. Right now, I know most of you are in the throe of it with mid-semester being essentially here, thinking about finals, internships, what club do I join, or dealing with the stress of being a part of a club, journal write on, all that stuff. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you all 4 tips that can help you with managing stress so that you can keep your grades up or get your grades up. Stress is such an important factor when we're talking about academics, and being able to manage that is like the key to success in terms of making the grade. So let's jump right on into it. All right, so tip number 1, time management. A lot of times the reason we feel stress is because we have so many different things to do and we feel like there's not enough time. So we're rushing, and then things pop up and we just feel all over the place. So my first tip for time management is to use block scheduling. A lot of content creators use this, but it's also helpful in terms of academics, especially with law school schedules where you have classes scattered throughout the day and only on specific days, where you might have like Monday might be a day where you have 2 classes, and then Tuesday you might have 3, but those classes are like 2 hours and a half. So what I suggest is block scheduling. And what this is you set out a time frame during each day where you are going to do a specific task. So for content creators, what they may do is say, on 3 hours every Monday, I record all my videos for the entire week. And then on 2 hours every Tuesday, I edit those videos, things like that. So for law students, what you want to do is find times within your week where there are large sections of time where you can study. And you want to block those off and say, during this time frame, this 3 or 4 hour block, I'm going to study. And after that, I'm not doing any more studying for the rest of the day. So you want to have those blocks scattered throughout your week. Now, here's another little tip for my people who might have issues with attention and distraction and maintaining focus on one topic at a time. If you have not watched one of my videos before, you may not know that I am someone who has been diagnosed with ADHD. And so what I find helpful is, whereas a lot of students might say, I'm going to spend the next 2 hours or the next 3 hours focused on Civ Pro, what you can do instead with your block time is schedule out smaller sections of time where you're focusing on a different subject area within each of those time frames, or a different topic within one subject area. So for instance, whereas some person might have a 3-hour schedule, 3-hour block in their schedule where they focus on Civ Pro only. If you're someone who struggles with with keeping attention on one thing, you can use that 3-hour frame and say, for the first hour, I'm going to focus on this topic within Civ Pro. For the second hour, I'm going to focus on this topic within contracts. And then for the third hour, I'm going to focus on this topic within torts. And, keep all your stuff digital so you don't have to carry as much materials with you or hold as much. And that'll allow you to be able to still use that 3-hour block for studying. You're just spreading it across different subject areas. So you're biting off little chunks as opposed to focusing on one large chunk of a topic area at one time. So that's going to be very important. Time blocking and making sure that you're blocking time for study, you're blocking time for like outings, you're blocking time for self-care. Try and find a 30-minute window every single day where you are just focused on doing something for yourself that you enjoy. And a tip that I got from one of my lovely line sisters years ago is to always leave time to breathe. So even in having your time managed down to a T, don't block off every minute of every day and every hour. Leave, 15-minute increments, 30-minute increments in between some of your blocks, because you never know what might pop up that calls for your attention. And then if you don't have that time built in your schedule already for emergency matters, you might fall behind on the things you do have scheduled. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2. Exercise. Okay, we all know that getting moving raises your dopamine levels, your serotonin, all those happy chemicals. So it's so important for you to find a form of exercise that helps you to relieve stress. So for me, when I was in law school, I switched it up. I did pole dancing, I went to the gym, I picked up running. Last year I did a lot of running, and now lately I've done a lot of pole dancing again. I also would do Zumba, yoga. I still do a little bit of yoga. I still do some dancing, and I'm going to share some workout videos from a group that I love called And 8. And they're free videos on YouTube where you can just do these dance workouts and you really break a sweat. But that allows you to kind of move your attention from things. I would suggest, if you needed to do exercises in the morning to get you an elevated mood, or if you're someone who feels like, you end the day off very stressfully, then I would also suggest, because I've done this before and it works, putting your exercise towards the end of the day, after you've studied, after you've done your classes, because it helps you shift your focus off of school and kind of turn that part of you off and focus on the more fun things. But whatever you do, keep it fun. Don't allow your exercise to become a stress factor where you feel like, oh, I gotta go to the gym, I gotta do this workout now. Make it something that's fun, that allows for you to really release stress. So whether that be dancing, whether that be cycling, whether that be weightlifting, try different things and you'll find what works for you, and just stick with that. And when it no longer works, try something else. Third, connection. Now, remember how I talked about making time in your schedule for self-care and doing things with other people? Well, yeah, this is that doing things with other people. Law school can be very isolating at times, especially if you're a first-generation lawyer, if you don't have a lot of friends who are lawyers. Then what happens is you end up spending your time by yourself or only with law school students, and you kind of lose relationships, or relationships with other people, just they dwindle. So it's important to maintain those relationships, and it's important to continuously be connecting with other people. So make sure that when you're scheduling your time out, that you're building in time for you to actually go out with your friends and family, not just networking, not for business purposes, but hey, let's just go out for a drink. Let's just go out for dinner. Let me spend time with my family for family dinner. Maintain those relationships that you have before law school and that you're developing during law school on a personal level, where you're really getting to know people on a more intimate level, as opposed to just business. And this is going to be very, very important for you. And the next tip, which is creating a support system. You're going to need people that you can talk to about things and about stresses of life that are not also dealing with the same stresses of life. Your law school friend, as much as they're going to be like, girl, I understand, they also may not be able to hold space for you in terms of the things you're dealing with in law school, because they're dealing with it too. So that brings me to my fourth tip. Build a support system. Make sure that you check in with people, have accountability partners who are going to be able to say, hey, did you follow your schedule today? Did you do your workout today? Did you study today? In school, you can have your study partners. Outside of school, you can have family and friends who are accountability partners for your workouts, things of that nature. You also, if necessary, want to get you a life coach, a counselor, or a psychiatrist. You know which one you need. And you want to make sure that when it comes to your friends and your family, you're asking and scoping out the people who can hold space for you. It's so important to ask people, can you hold space for me in terms of this? Now, for some people, you can say, throughout my time or throughout this semester, can you be somebody that I turn to just vent about this matter? Other people, it might be, case by case, where something pops up and you're like, girl, do you have a moment to just listen to me vent? But make sure that you have people around who are capable of doing that. Even if they're not capable of doing it every time, just make sure that the people around you are people who are willing to do it sometimes, okay? It's important for you to know that you have quality relationships and quality friends by having people who can hold space for you when you need to. That is going to be so important. It helps to alleviate stress, because it's like, good, I know that I have someone I can turn to when things get to be too much. So being able to have at least 3 people like that Hopefully one of them is a professional, a life coach, a counselor, or a psychiatrist, somebody that, you pay to do that, because that way it's a guarantee. Even if my sister can't hold space for me right now, even if my girl can't hold space for me right now, if my mama can't listen to me cry my tears out right now, my psychiatrist, my counselor, my life coach, you get paid to do that. So you better answer this phone when I'm ready to just vent, So those are my tips: time management, exercise, connecting with, your friends and family, and building a support system. So that's all for the day. I hope this was helpful for you all. If it was, of course, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye, y'all.